Alright, so Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom. Alright, so Lord willing, right? One of the brothers had sent me a video. It was from TikTok, but it was like I can't think of his name. It was a celebrity talking, but he was mentioning this situation, right? And Lord willing, through the Spirit, I want to go into it because it automatically made me think about Jeremiah 50:7, Ezekiel 38, right? But right, through the Spirit, Lord willing, we'll go into it, right? So I typed in, right, the ChatGPT. I said, what's going on with Russia? Right, and before I mention this as well, throughout the week, last week, and kind of, through even yesterday, I want to say, well, I know Saturday for sure, there's been a lot of lessons, going in about prophecy, not necessarily prophetic things that done happen, but just speaking on the fact, Elder Pastor Rumlad did a lesson, it was titled, all these other council debating, we're GMS prophesying, then also with, me and the brothers, we did a sit down going to prophecy. Then we did a camp. Speaking about prophecy, or speaking about how prophecy and things are, the signs are showing things as such as well. And it's crazy. I know the brother sent me this. It's in the spirit. It was all in the spirit. That we seeing these signs, and we seeing these signs and things happening. Showing that things are getting near. Because we know that before the MOTB comes, before World War III comes, the MOTB going to come, right? And that's just showing the ramping up how World War III is at the doorstep, right? And the fact of that, the MOTB is right there. Then the MOTB is right around the corner. Then So I'll go into this a little bit, right? ChatGPT. I said, what's going on with Russia, China, and Iran? Training in the straits while America is sailing through, right? It says, how they try to make it seem like ain't nothing really going on, like it ain't no big deal. But when you understand prophecy and understand, what's set to happen, like how big of a deal these things are and how they can be, right? It says, here's the real current situation in plain terms. A lot of headlines on social media are making it sound like war, right? It's about to break out, right? Because that's what it's showing, even reading chat, this made me think about Thessalonians 5 when they shall say peace and safety, right? They want to push peace so bad, but it ain't that, man. The tensions are up, man. Hey, all these things should come to pass, man. Right? Let's continue reading. It says making it sound like war is about to break out, but what's happening is more about power signaling and positioning than immediate conflict, right? So it's basically saying they're not really finna fight right now. They're just showing who got the power. What it's gonna lead to? A fight. But anyways, let's continue reading. Right, so what's happening right now is recently Russia, China, and Iran have been doing joint naval drills in and around the Strait of Hormuz. It's like I'm saying that wrong, lousy reader. Right? It says, while the United States Navy also has major forces sailing nearby. These exercises are part of the series called Maritime Security Belt. They've been happening off and on since 2019, but this year they're getting more attention because the tensions are higher, and you see that, because why? Hey, matter of fact, that's what made me think about it. Let's go to Ezekiel 12 real fast. We're gonna go back to that. Ezekiel 12, and let's go right here to verse, right? We'll start at verse 22. It says, son of man, what is this proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision faileth, right? It says, tell them therefore, this saith the Lord Yahweh, right? It said, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand, the effect of every vision, right? Well, understanding that now, things are rising because the prophets, the teachers, the sister men, how about Shah been speaking for so long, telling you that, hey, there's going to be a war. Russia, Russia and his allies are going to come on America, right? Well, they saying this thing been going on and off since 2019, I guess it's saying. But right now, since the tensions are high, right, it's getting more attention. Well, they're showing you what, right? Let's see. Matter of fact, another quick precept real fast. This is Matthew 24 and verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So we knowing that hearing these things and seeing these things, that the end is getting near, right? That's why the tensions are high, right? Because that World War III is going to break out. And I was reading something. It was another article that was basically saying how, let's see if I could, let's see, bear with me, Salakia. Let me see if it come up. Yeah, I was reading this right here, right? It says, as the U.S. flows assets toward the Middle East. Man, what is it? No, off the rip, through the spirit. Does not make you think of Joel chapter 3, right? I would, let's go to that. And it's the spirit, because even the elders was going into this, at the camp they did this weekend, right? Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Gabar, and Elder Apostle, Bishop Sakaran, right? This right here, Joel 3, right? Now I'll just read verse 1 and 2. It says, "For behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem," Judah, the southern kingdom, Jerusalem, referring to the northern kingdom, ultimately, how Bashan Yahshua is going to deliver us from this captivity. He's going to restore us. He's going to restore us again, make us whole again. He's going to deliver us, right? It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat, which is the Middle East, man, right? Where He's going to gather them up at. What are they going to do? He said, bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in the Middle East, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, right? So He's going to plead with them, judge them, right? Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh judge, which they're going to go to war with each other, right? They're going to go to war with each other, and then they're going to, then Yahweh Shaphat is going to come clean them up, man, right? So staying there, let's go back to, let's read a little more. This says, as the U.S. flows assets toward the Middle East, including Gerald R. Ford Carrier Stryker Group, CSG, now reportedly off the Moroccan coast, Iran, China, and Russia will hold their recurring joint naval travel exercise in the Strait of Hormuz, right? According to Iranian media. Moscow terrain see the Maritime Security Belt 2026 exercise as particularly relevant in light of current events, right? It says, and there are the reasons for the White House and the Pentagon to take vote, having Russia or China's warships in these waters amid a U.S. attack on Iran could have military and political implication planners must address, right? It says at the same time, the timing of the still ongoing U.S. buildup and the exercise point to it having more of a messaging effect than an operational one, right? So ultimately, this is going into the same thing we're reading about how, they try to make it seem like it's just something where, they've been doing this and now it's just at a high stake because the tension, it's like the tension, the tension of, what's going on in the world right now. But in reality, if you can see it through the spirit, what? That's that, let's see where, let me see. It's like it. I'm gonna ask something real fast. Where is? Let's ask chat something. Come on, man. Right? All right, you see it, right? Well, let's continue to raise it down, man. Right? It's in the Middle East, man. So you see it. These tensions are high, man. And ultimately, when you understand it, right? We're gonna read a little more of this. Then we'll get into the scripture, man. Precepts around it. The prophecy tells you that what? Russia, right? And its allies, they're gonna come against America, man. Right? And you see how the Most High is Lord willing, through the Spirit, you can see how the Most High is setting it up, how He's sizing it up, man. You got them over there practicing things together, and they're gonna meet about it. we're gonna read. And ultimately, if they don't come to the right agreement, you know what's gonna go down to. You know Trump prideful. You know American arrogancy, man. Right? So where was we at, Salakia? Let's get back to Salakia. Too far down. Right? Right here, right? So recently Russia, China, and Iran have been doing joint naval drills, in the Strait around Hormuz, and while the United States Navy also has major forces settling nearby. These exercises are part of the series called Maritime Security Belt. They've been on and off. We read that, right? It's going into the drills where they include, right? It says officials from these countries say they are practicing protecting shipping and trade, which they claim is more vulnerable. And I seen something. I want to say we're talking about how China get a lot of his oil supply through Iran, things like that, and Venezuela. But when America going to take over Venezuela, it's causing an off balance. It's just causing, America's doing too much. That's causing too much controversy. It's causing too much problems, man. Which we know that goes into how they gonna how these nations hate the whore, man. How nations hate the whore, and they gonna turn on her, right? But let's see. I said, okay. It says, why is America there too? The U.S. has two aircraft carrier striker groups in the region, and multiple destroyers and air assets. That's a big present, but it's meant to protect global shipping, deter Iran from blocking the strait, show support for allies in the Gulf, pressure Iran during nuclear negotiation. The U.S. president has increased partially because of Iran nuclear program. Houthi attacks on shipping concerns Iran could disrupt oil routes. About 20% of the oil, you see this, right? 20% of the world oil is passed through this strait. So keeping it open is critical to the global economy. While Russia, China, and Iran are doing this together, this is mostly about geopolitics and messaging, not immediate war. Each country has its own reason. They said Iran wants to show it can threaten or control a global, right, power, right? Look what Russia said. Russia strengthened ties with Iran and China, pushes the idea of a multipolar world, right? Less U.S. dominance, right? You see this? It's the spirit, man. Let's matter of fact, because Russia was part of the seven heads, right? Russia's going to be the end of this place, right? Let's go to this Revelation 17 and start at verse 12, right? Because ultimately it's going into America coming to the plate, right? You got the seven heads: Greece, Rome, Spain, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Greece, Rome, Spain, French, Germania Major, Germania Minor, and Great Britain, right? And you have the eighth head, which comes out of the seventh head, which the seventh head is Great Britain, the eighth head is America, right? So it says in the 10 horns, NATO, the EU, right? Which thou sawest, the 10 kings which received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings while with the beast. These have one mind, shall give their power and strength unto the beast, right? These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords, and King of kings. And they that are with him are called chosen and faithful. It says, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples, multitude, nations, and tongues. Because this whore, which is America, it got control over everybody. America got the dominance. You see what it says? Less U.S. dominance, man. They want to stop U.S. dominance. They want to strengthen together to come down to push back on America. America controls everything, man. Right? It says in the 10 horns, right? EU, NATO, how you want to put it, right? Which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right? You not see that? Look what Russia is trying to do. One of their points of them being in this situation. It says pushes the idea of multipolar world, less U.S. dominance. Right? So let's hold that. We're gonna go back to Revelation 17. Let's hold that. Let's go to Revelation 13. right? Revelation 13:2. It says, and the beast was outside like unto a leopard, right? When you go into the beast, right? Daniel 7, the beast, right? That leopard was, let's go to it, which is referring to the Greeks, right? Daniel 7, right? You got the first beast. Right? Was the Babylonian Empire, right? I say Syrian Babylonian Empire, but the Babylonians came and took it over through Nebuchadnezzar, right? So you got the Babylonian Empire, got the Medo-Persian Empire, right? And this right here's the third beast, right? It says after Daniel 7:6, and after this I beheld, and lo, like a leopard, which had upon his back with 4 wings of an owl. The beast had 4 heads, which is the four main generals, right? And the meaning was given to it. This is the Greeks, right? Beginning with Alexander the Great, when the Edomites came into power. Man, that's when they first colonized, right? Their first establishment, right? The leopard represent Alexander the Great. Plus the Greek Empire, which he was the head of the empire. He was the one who conquered all those nations back then, right? Ruled the known world at the time, right? I really want to. So these are the 4 heads: Ptolemy, Cassander, Seculus, Lasmituus, right? It's like I'm saying that wrong. Right, but you seeing it, right? So when we go back to, and that was the establishment of the Edomite Empire, the Edomites coming into rule, right? They came in through the Greeks, right? So let's go back to Revelation 13, right? It says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. That bear is talking about Russia, right? Because it's going into how it says, I saw like unto a leopard, and his feet, because the feet is the end of something. So Russia is going to be the end of this Edomite establishment. The Russians going to, Russia's going to bring that destruction upon this place, which we're going to get into as well, right? And his mouth as the mouth of a lion. They're going to the Great Britain, because Great Britain ultimately still get their head. America still gets his marching orders, things as such from Great Britain. They still got to say so in it, right? It says, and the dragon gave him his power. The dragon is the Roman Empire, right? And his seat and his great authority, because America's in that top seat of the rise Roman Empire, man, right? But understand it, right? So now they're going to hate the whore, going to bring her into the whore. They're going to make her desolate naked. And you see, that's what Russia's whole point of them even being in this fight is for, man. That's what they doing, right? Man, you can see it, man. It's clear as day, man. It's clear as day, man, right? So let's go back to here and read a little bit more. Let's go back here and read a little bit more real fast, Lord willing, right? Let's see. So I can pull this over, all right? So let's read a little bit more real fast, right? So it says, China, right? China is in it, right? China's in it to what? Protect its energy supply. China buys a lot of Middle Eastern oil, right? Which I had mentioned earlier. It's like I meant to say. I was reading this bottom part right here, right? It says right here the third bulletin with China builds partnership without direct confrontation with the U.S. because they hate the whore, man. Let's finish this off right here, right? Says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, right? NATO, EU, right? EU, so which is those 10 horns, right? It says, these shall hate the whore, right? That whore talking about America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, man. Because ultimately they hate this whore, right? So they don't even want to do business with this place, man, right? It made me think about Isaiah 13, right? Where it talks about, I want to say it's Isaiah 13, right? We're going to how riches are no more, right? Let's see. Bear with me. Yeah, right here. 17, right? It says, behold, I'll stir up the Medes, which is really referring to the Russians, right? In this time, right? Right here. So it's about the Russian when it says the Medes. Behold, I'll stir up the Medes, which is about the Russian, against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, it shall not delight in. So they don't even care. They ain't even going to care about the money or thing. They don't even care about none of that. They don't want nothing to do with the U.S. All they want to do with the U.S. is destroy this place. Get her out the way, man. Right? This whore, this great whore, they tired of this whore. This whore time is coming out. She played out. They tired of her. Right? So one more point I want to read before we get into these precepts. Yeah. We can. I want to go into. Okay, I typed this in. I said they having a meeting about it. It says yes. They are. Yes, there are talks happening. Right? It says. But not all the countries you mentioned are sitting down together. So ultimately, it's saying that Iran and U.S. gonna meet, right, about Iran's nuclear program and regional tensions, right? But ultimately, China and it's like you. Let's turn this off. It says Russia and China are not officially in those nuclear meetings, right? Russia and China are not part of the direct U.S.-Iran negotiations right now, but they support Iran politically, coordinate behind the scenes, use military drills to show unity and influence. So they let you know that they're together, even though they're not sitting under the table, right? They're together. Ultimately, you know, if they go in there and they go in there and they show basically right here. Let's read it before we get into let's read this real fast. It said the Joint Naval Exercise Maritime Security Belt 2026 is meant to strengthen cooperation and signal a multipolar world instead of U.S. dominance. Right. So now they get to that point. They shall hate the whore. They hating the whore. They tired of her. Right. They tired of what she doing. They tired of all the being under her rule, being under her foot. Right. So now they coming together and coming against her, man. Right. So let's get into these precepts. Right. Let's go Jeremiah 50. Right. And let's see, we'll start at verse 1. It says, the word of the Lord spake against Babylon, against the land of Chaldees by Jeremiah the prophet. Talking about America today, right? Just notice talking about America. Con. Declare ye among the nations and publish it. That's what we're supposed to set up a standard. That's what we're supposed to do. Preach the word, teach his truth, right? Teach it, right? It says, and publish and conceal not. We don't supposed to stop. We don't care what they say. We don't care what they do. We're supposed to teach his word each and every day. Yahweh Shah gives us the ability to do it, man. We're supposed to be on the highways and byways, the lessons, right? The internet doing the heavy uplifting, right? It says, Babylon is taken. Baal is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken to pieces. That's just really going into how America is broken down, man. America is done. This place is decaying every day, right? Bring out notes on it. Declaring among nations through the internet. As I mentioned, Babylon is taken, meaning America is done. The American dream is over. Baal is confounded. Merodach is broken. Is America dying? All the ways of it, right? Right. So this right here, right? So we're gonna read verse 3. Then we're gonna jump down to verse 9, right? But it says, "For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate." What is that nation out of the north? Right? It's talking about Russia, right? So before we move next, go right here to Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel 38, right? And this is going into Russia, Gog and Magog, right? And Lord willing, talk to the brothers, and we go into this chapter, right? Go into this breakdown, this chapter, and I want to go into how why they're called Gog and Magog. I want to say ultimately. I want to say it was a Japheth. I want to say it was Japheth. Them was over there in that land, right? And then they came in, put some over things and such, right? There's some history going into that, Lord willing, through the Spirit. Learning more through the elders, right? I know the elders definitely got some breakdowns. Ezekiel 38, and Lord willing, we break it down soon, through the Spirit, right? But for the sake, we're gonna go to really ultimately, we want to go into the history of Japheth. Them being in that land, and they were pushed, pushed out, things of that such, right? But let's go to Ezekiel 38, and because it's going to Gog and Magog, it's going into Russia, right? So let's go right here to verses 15 and 16, right? It says, right? So it says, it's talking to Russia, right? It says, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army, man. So what was that talking to? That's talking about Russia, its allies, China, Iran, not America, NATO, EU, right? Some African countries, right? They're going to come from the north parts, right? Right here in my notes, right? Russia going to have, this future prophecy. Russia going to have Iran, China, NATO, EU nations, Turkey, some of the African countries, man. It says, and thou shalt come up against my people, of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me when I be sanctified in thee, O God, before their eyes. Because the Most High is going to put his spirit, right? And they're going to come up against this place, man. Right? It says, let's see. I'd read down to verse 18. It says, this saith the Lord Yahweh, art thou he of whom I had spoken in old time by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years, that I would bring thee against them. Right? So this been prophesied, Jeremiah 28, right? It's been prophesied. It said it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come up against the land of Israel, said the Lord Yahweh, that my fury shall come up in my face. Because ultimately, right, Russia's not only going to just drop bombs on America, it's going to drop bombs on Israel as well. They tied in with each other, right? America and Israel. They're going to drop bombs on Israel as well, man. But Russia, they that country is going to come up out the north, right? You know, it's going to bring that destruction, which we read, Revelation 13:2, right? It's going to bring that destruction upon this place. And you see Russia objective with chat shoulders, man. You know, they want to come together to stop that U.S. dominance, man. Ultimately, that's what it's all is, right? That's what this whole Maritime Security Belt 2026 is about. It's meant to strengthen cooperation and signal a multi-power world instead of U.S. dominance, right? They say, hate the whore, man. They tired of this whore, right? You know, this whore is played out now. Now it's time for her end. Now she had her end, man. She's done, right? So, let's continue. Let's jump down. Oh, let's finish off verse 3. It says, for out of the north shall come up a nation against her, Russia, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall depart both man and beast, right? We brought those precepts out, right? So let's jump down to verse 9, right? It says, for lo, I will raise up and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of a great nation from the north country, that's Russia and its allies, man, right? And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows, which are the missiles, shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. So ultimately, right, you got to understand that this place is going to be destroyed. Russia and its allies are going to come destroy this place. And you see Russia strengthening its allies right now. You see it. You see prophecy unfolding in your eyes right now, right? Ezekiel 12, man. You know, now you think you got time. You see how 2019. Oh, this happened in 2019, but you know how chat trying to play. Oh, this happened in 2019 before, but it just hyped up right now because of tension. Yeah, man, because now the effect of the vision, now the effect of every vision is at hand. Now it's time. Now prophecy's unfolding right in front of your face, right? Remember, Yahweh told us, right? He said what? Right? He answered me, 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. When thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, right? These signs, wars, rumors of wars, right? You seeing these things pass, right? Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time where the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And we know that what? When Yahweh Shai come, right? When Yahweh Shai come, right? We know that they're going to be fighting in Yahweh Shai, that war in heaven, 2 Ezra 13. I also speak about a little bit in Revelation 12, that war in heaven, right? You know, when Yahweh Shai come, right? He's gonna bring destruction. He bring deliverance for the elect, and destruction amongst all the other other nations and other people, man, right? In Joel chapter 3, in the valley of Jehoshaphat, man, where they're going to be what? They're going to fight against each other, right? And then the Yahweh is going to come to bring destruction upon them, right? Even in 2 Ezra 13 goes to how, you know, how they're going to be fighting each other, and Yahweh Shai going to come on there. They refer to the chariot, how big it is as a mountain, right? It's going to come on there, and they're going to be scared, but the Most High going to put the spirit on them. Why it says they durst fight. They're going to be frightened and afraid, but the Most High going to put the spirit on them to fight, man, right? So let's read that Jeremiah 50 again, right? Jeremiah 50, you know. Hey, man, it's right here at the door, man. We can see it. Jeremiah 50:9, for lo, I'll raise up to cause up against Babylon an assembly of great nations, right? Which we're seeing with this strengthened corporation, with this Maritime Security Belt 2026. We seeing it, right? It says, assembly of great nation from the north country, Russia and its allies, they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. So this prophecy is really is unfolding right here in front of our face. Their whole objective is to come together to, you know, knock off the U.S. dominance, man. We're seeing it, right? I don't know why I keep putting. All right. Right? Revelation 11:14 says the second war passed, right? The second war, and behold, the third war coming quickly. What is that? That's the World War III, man. So World War III coming quickly, man. So hey, don't let them fool you. 1 Thessalonians, their Lord coming thief in the night, man. 1 Thessalonians 5, we'll read a little bit of this right here, right? 1 Thessalonians 5, we start at verse 1. It says, but at the times of season, brethren, you have no need without writing to you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. For But when they say peace and safety, oh, this been going on since 2019. This is high right now. Nah. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child that should not escape. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that they should overtake you as a thief. Because while we have the light, we have knowledge and understanding of Yahweh Shem Shah, know what's going on. You are children of the light and children of the day. We are not of night nor of darkness, right? That day is referring to the kingdom, because at the end of the day is night. So we at the end of this kingdom, right, which is full of night, darkness, it's dark kingdom, right? And we at the it's a new day coming. You know, day is the beginning of a new day, night is the end of the day. So a new day is coming, a new kingdom is coming, the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Shah, man, right? So therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober, right? So we've been sober, man. We've been on point. We watching through the spirit, right? Habakkuk chapter Habakkuk chapter 2, right? These visions pointed for a time, right? Verse 1, it said, I will stand up in my watchtower. I'll stand up in my watch and set me a tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me when he shall, and what I shall answer when I reprove, right? And the Lord answered me and said, write this vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry, right? Because America's going to be brought down. Them going to verse 5 goes to how they're proud. They want to heap it to them all nations. These nations are tired now. The nations are mad. The nations are tired of this place. So now this place is done. Jeremiah 51 speaks about how there's no healing in this place, right? This place is over. This place is cooked, man, right? You know, and the Lord willing, right? That's what I want to go into, Lord, before I start moving some of this stuff for my mom. So I want to go into this, right? Yeah, man, that's what I want to go into, you know, Lord willing, right? You know, touching on that a little bit, man, seeing times come, you know, the brother sent me this, the brother Kabar sent me this, you know, Lord willing, the spirit instantly hit me, you know, Jeremiah 50, right, verse 3, you know, the whole chapter really, man, going into the destruction of America, man, how this place falling, and how those countries, Russia, are going to come up against this place, man, you know. So with that being said, you know, Lord willing, right, you know, brothers still on that watchtower, understand, you know, hey, for Esau, it's the end of the world, Jacob, the beginning of that follows, man, you know, hey, we hasten, matter of fact, we hasten fast for this world to pass away, right? What is that, Second Ezra 14-18, for the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. Right? Second Ezra 4:26. Then he answered me and said, "Thou, the more thou search, the more thou marvel." Right? The more knowledge and understanding we get, we see how what it says. For the world hates to fast to pass away, because we seeing the signs, we seeing the things that Yahweh Shem Shah told us. He's speaking unto us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, which is knowledge, allows us to understand it, knowledge to understand it, man. Right? I want that one for Peter, right? But I couldn't find it. But Lord willing, right? Lord willing, I put it on the description board, you know. But we hate for the world to pass away, man. You know. So that being said, Lord willing, right? I want to give honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and